Okay, alrighty. We're ready then?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the February 3rd Elyria Board of Education meeting. First of all, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Madam President, could we start with?
Oh, call the roll. I'm
call?
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Call the roll.
Ms.
I'm sorry.
Carson,
Here.
Mr. Bax,
Here.
Mr. Ellick,
Here.
Mr. Gebhardt, and Mrs. Seaborn.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Now may we please have the Pledge of Allegiance, if you will give us the flag.
I will.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I
pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much. At this time, I will have the introduction of the roster. First of all, Mike Gebhardt has not joined us as of yet. Second, we have Board Member Greg Ellick. Thank you. We have Board Member Elaine Seagrim. Thank you. We have Vice President Jim Bax. And I am President Annie Karstoffen. And we have Superintendent Ann Sloss. And we have our Treasurer, Joy Clickinger. Thank you so much. At this time, we have no board recognition tonight. Is that right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any presentation?
No.
Well, we have the school calendar.
Oh, yeah. School calendar. That is under Ohio Revised Code that not later than 30 days, we put it up for public to review.
Okay, so Ohio Revised Code 3313.48 states no later than 30 days prior to adopting a school calendar, the Board of Education for each city, exempted village, or local school district shall hold a public hearing on the school calendar, addressing topics that include but are not limited to the total number of hours in a school year, length of school days, and beginning and end dates of instructions. The proposed and draft 2021 through 2022 district calendar is attached. Adoption of the 2021 through 2022 calendar will be on our March 17th, 2021 board agenda for approval. So we're just going to, hopefully you've had a chance to view that. I actually downloaded it and looked at it, but we won't actually discuss it until the March 17th board meeting. Okay. Next, do we have any visitors' comments?
No.
No visitors' comments. Board of Education's discussion items. At this time, due to the emails that we received, we had some questions and concerns regarding the high school teachers returning to in-person classes. I would like to open the discussion so that we can, as a board, can discuss our returning to in-person board meetings, just to get your feelings and your thoughts about returning to the administration building for our board meetings. Who would like to be first?
So we're discussing this because of the emails from some high school teachers. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't know. Were you able to read the emails? We received several emails, and I've understood that there were several comments and questions regarding board members and the fact that we've not returned back to open meetings as of yet. So I just wanted to open it up for discussion so that we could talk about going back into public meetings.
Okay. Well, I'll go
Okay.
ahead and start. I'm not so sure comparing educating children to governing a school district are exactly the same. So I really don't compare the two. I do think this board should probably sooner than later try to get back in public session. I think it would be helpful. I think it would be a good leadership position. And I'm all for getting back into public session in person when the timing is right. When the timing is right, I'm not really sure on that. I wouldn't want to just jump back in because we have a few high school teachers that want us to get back in because they're teaching kids in the classroom. I think you're kind of comparing apples and oranges here. I think everybody's aware of the information that's out there that a child learns so much better in the classroom. I don't think we govern better by being in person, but I do think it's a good leadership position that as soon as possible we get in person to person or in person meetings as we can. So that's my thoughts on that.
Thank you, Mr. Ellick. I appreciate
Sure.
that. Yes. Another board member, please.
My thoughts, Madam President, are that when we were in person and the setup that we had was proper in terms of social distancing and various protocols, I see no reason that we could not, as soon as the February 20th board meeting, return to an in-person status. I see absolutely no reason why we can't do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bax.
Yeah, and I'm in support of meeting in person. I do agree with Greg. I don't know that one is related to the other, but I'm fine meeting in person. I think it may, if people want to present concerns or something to the board, I feel like it's probably easier for them to do in person versus calling in on the Zoom call. So, yeah, I'm supportive of going back as soon as we can.
Thank you, Ms. Seguin. I too agree. I agree with everything that I've heard from my fellow board members. I would not like to return too soon and then we have to go back into the Zoom meetings within the next, 2 weeks. When the time is right, I would love to return back. But I do want to make sure that the timing is correct. However, I do feel that I think I missed one because I had tragedy in my family, but the second meeting I was able to attend when we did return, and I felt very safe. I felt that the protocol was followed, and I had no problem with the setup there at the administration building.
I don't have any problem. See if you can get that on.
Oh, I hear somebody.
I hear somebody trying to chime in as well. But yes, I'm very much in support of returning back when the time is right also. Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts and comments.
Did I just hear Gebhardt? Did he sign in?
No.
I think he was
okay.
trying to, he didn't sign in yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
You did
Okay.
hear me.
Are you on?
I'm on with voice.
No, he's not on.
I'm having trouble.
So is he on with your speakerphone, Jim? Is that what we're hearing?
That's
Yes.
what you're hearing.
Oh, he's on Mike's phone.
So is he ready, Jim, to give a comment or no?
Yeah, I'm all ready to go back. I have no problem with it. I think our social distancing when we were doing it before was fine.
Okay, thank
So
you.
are we saying that the next board meeting will be in person? Or you'll let me know on that, or?
We will let you know. We will
Okay.
let you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item F, meeting minutes. The minutes have been posted. Hopefully you've all had the opportunity to review the minutes. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the Board of Education records and proceedings for the meeting from January 20th of 2021. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Move to,
Oh, sorry. We
Okay,
need
so
like some
moved
sign.
by Elaine. May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Ms. Seguin and second by Mr. Bax.
Yes.
Okay, are there any questions? If not, Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Seguin,
Aye.
Mr. Bax,
Yes.
Mr. Elick,
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt,
Aye.
and Ms. Karstafen.
Aye, motion carried. Moving on to G, Treasurer action items.
I do not have anything this evening.
Nothing at all? Okay,
No.
Can I jump in there real quick? Madam Treasurer, for the record, is Mr. Gebhardt through the phone officially in the meeting now?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because we passed a resolution that said you can join electronically. It didn't say you had to be, video or anything like that.
Okay.
So unless you see it otherwise.
No, I was just wondering for the record. So.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, sorry.
thank
Madam
you.
President.
No, thank you. No problem for clarification. At this time, we'll move on to K, Superintendent action items.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. First of all, we have to ask for your approval of the OSBA services agreement for the purpose of providing the policy web update service. This is a service we have every year come up to us. Next, to approve the overnight athletic field trips as detailed in the enclosure K2. These are both wrestling overnights for tournaments. And then to approve the payment of stipends as listed below. And that concludes my action items.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to accept and approve the items recommended by the superintendent?
So moved.
Moved by Greg Elick. May I please have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike Gebhardt. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Elick,
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt,
Aye.
Mr. Bax,
Yes.
Mrs. Seguin,
Aye.
and Ms. Karstafen.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to M, personnel action items recommended by the superintendent.
Thank you. First of all, to approve the appointment of the following certified staff as detailed below. This is a new substitute teacher, which will put us up to 58. Also to approve the athletic supplemental contracts that are listed below. These are all volunteers and have been vetted. To approve the resignation of the following classified staff as detailed below. To approve the appointment of the following classified staff as detailed below. And to approve the unpaid leave of absence of the following classified staff as detailed below. And that concludes my personnel action items.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. May I please have a motion to approve the personnel items recommended by the superintendent as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Seguin. May I please have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Gebhardt is in person. Yay. Okay, that was motion by Ms. Seguin, second by Mr. Gebhardt. Any questions? No. Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Seguin,
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt,
Aye.
Mr. Bax,
Yes.
Mr. Elick,
Aye.
and Ms. Karstafen.
Aye. Motion carries. Any other personnel items?
I do not have any other personnel items, but I do have a real small report here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. First of all, I wanted to let everyone know you've started to see the postings, but we have our, I think we're calling it a kindergarten roundup on February 27th. We are open for registration now for kindergartners, but we're going to have an old roundup up at the high school the morning of the 27th. More details to come, but it's on social media now. Also, if you have noticed, we've begun our PD podcasts. We've had 3, I believe, from our social workers. And then we've had 1, I think it's on social media right now, an Elyria alumni is on Jeopardy tonight, I believe. And she's an attorney out in California. So there's a write-up on social media, and I think Amy Higgins put something out in the district email. So that's some exciting news. So hopefully Ken Jennings can bring us to a win with our Elyria Pioneer. And then next, you know, we tried something new. We had a lot of requests for pink cookies. So the pink cookies pop-up has been happening around. I've had a little fun joining in on this, but so far we've raised $3,000 for the Student Emergency Fund for the district. And that fund is when a parent or family would call in and need school supplies or things, you know, coats, something to get to school safe and warm in. We always try to help them out. So kudos to Aramark for letting us use those proceeds in a donation to the Student Emergency Fund. And that's it for right now, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. P is Board of Education. Do we have any board member that would like to tell us anything tonight?
Yeah, Madam President, I did want to ask the superintendent to touch on, you know, as we started off the meeting when we were talking about meetings, about, you know, some of the emails that we've gotten from, well, I think this was specifically from educators, but, and obviously we want to make sure that all communications we receive, we follow up and we're thorough, and every time I get something, I talk to you. But can you share a little bit? I think the one thing that was probably the most concerning with a couple of these emails are the educators kind of felt that maybe their input wasn't well received with coming back. And obviously, I know you go out of your way to try to communicate on these topics, but can you just talk a little bit about that, the dynamics that are involved with bringing the educators back, trying to do your best to make sure they're in a safe environment?
Sure, thanks, Mr. Alec. If you remember back in November, it was well before Thanksgiving, we started to have some difficulty staffing. And the reason we decided to go out November 30th was purely for staffing. We were having 30 uncovered classes in a day, and it was beginning to take its toll as trying to find coverages and everything. So at that time, and this is key and why I bring this up, I communicated that we would be coming back at the end of January, I believe it was the 26th, to hybrid again. So it was always our intent to come back. We had gotten emails, a lot of phone calls, and feedback from teachers around and staff, classified staff around the district. And you have to remember, all through that time, classified staff was still coming to work. From November 30th through January 26th. And then teachers were teaching remotely, some coming in and some teaching from home. They had the option. But we did get a lot of input on different things that they thought to improve. We actually took one of them at the middle school level to try to get students more engaged in a 2+2 model. But then at the high school, we had in a lot of the cohort days, anywhere from 5 to 8 students, sometimes 10, that were in each cohort. The rooms at the high school are a little bit bigger than they are at the K-8 buildings, and we felt very clearly that we could still provide the safety protocol in place at the high school while getting the high school to a 4-day a week, which would help with engagement of the high school students and getting them, getting their classes and their credits in and everything else. It's always going to be, I've never not said it was my intent, if we could safely bring students back, that we wanted to have them in front of us. And I know the high school staff worked the weekend before to make sure all the rooms were set up. I'm not going to lie and tell you there weren't bumps and little things that we had to work through, but that happens every year with new schedules and everything, no matter what. But we did work through them, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from parents and staff that they're glad to see the faces of their students again. But it's important to note that we're still following the safety protocol. And I will say this on record, that I really do believe Elyria has taken all these things into consideration. And we have, we have not gone 5 days a week. We still have the Wednesday where they get to collaborate and work with students, in Google Meets, but also meet with their colleagues. And we do another deep clean. So I do feel that we've listened, and I know there are teachers that would have preferred to wait until after the vaccinations, but understand, as we just found out, our first vaccine's not until February 26th. The next one well into March, and we really feel we could do it safely with a hybrid. So I do feel good about the models we have right now.
And are you still meeting frequently with the health commissioner and continuing the dialogue and bouncing ideas with him?
Yes, I meet every Friday. I probably talk to him every other day. I was down at the ESC meeting on several things again today. We were the last Lorain County school to come back from the, several of them had gone out because of the purple and all of that. And we did, as you know, I wrote all of you because we got the little black star, and we're on the verge of going purple, but then the next week it went back to no star. So we were ready to stay out a little longer if need be. But I think right now we are doing what we feel is right and still following all safety protocols and under the guidance of the health commissioner.
Good. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Board of Education, Board Policies and Regulations, second reading and adoption. To approve the second reading and adoption or removal of the following board policies and regulations as detailed. First of all, may I have a motion first of all?
Move
Motion.
to approve the second reading of the policy revisions.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Bax and a second by Mr. Ellick. Mr. Bax, would you
Yes.
like any comments? Is there anything you need to bring us up to date on or no?
I went through the last board meeting. I went through some detail in terms of what each revision was, and that's contained in the minutes, but I have no further updates beyond that.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? If not, Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bax?
Yes.
Mr. Ellick?
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt?
Aye.
Mrs. Seguin?
Aye.
And Ms. Karstafen?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, Q is executive session. At this time, I would entertain a motion. I will entertain a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of considering the employment of compensation of a public employee and for the purpose of considering the purchase of property for public purchase or for the sale of property for competitive bidding with no action to follow as authorized under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.2. May I please have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Bax. May I please have a second? I'm sorry, that was Mr. Gephardt.
I'll
May I please have
second.
a second? Second by Mr. Bax.
Yep.
Any questions? Okay, that will be no action to follow. Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Gephardt?
Madam
sorry.
Treasurer?
Mr. Gebhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Bax?
Yes.
Mr. Elick?
Aye.
Mrs. Segwin?
Aye.
And Ms. Karstafen?
Aye, thank you. Motion carries. We will enter into executive session